London town." Harry Blount was telegraphing some verses learned in his childhood, in order to employ the time, and not give up his place to his rival. It would perhaps cost his paper some thousands of roubles, but it would be the first informed. France could wait. Jolivet's fury may be imagined, though under any other circumstances he would have thought it fair warfare. He even endeavoured to force the clerk to take his dispatch in preference to that of his rival. "It is that gentleman's right," answered the clerk coolly, pointing to Blount, and smiling in the most amiable manner. And he continued faithfully to transmit to the Daily Telegraph the well known verses of Cowper. Whilst he was working Blount walked to the window, and, his field glass to his eyes, watched all that was going on in the neighbourhood of Kolyvan, so as to complete his information. In a few minutes he resumed his place at the wicket, and added to his telegram, "Two churches are in flames. The fire appears to gain on the right. John Gilpin's spouse said to her, 'Dear, though wedded we have been these twice 10 tedious years, yet we no holiday have seen.'" Alcide Jolivet would have liked to strangle the honourable correspondent of the Daily Telegraph. He again interrupted the clerk, who, quite unmoved, merely replied, "It is his right, sir, it is his right, at 10 copecks a word." And he telegraphed the following news just brought him by Blount. "Russian fugitives are escaping from the town. Away went Gilpin, who but he? His fame soon spread around. He carries weight, he rides a race. 'Tis for £1,000." And Blount turned round with a quizzical look at his rival. Alcide Jolivet fumed. In the meanwhile Harry Blount had returned to the window, but this time his attention was diverted by the interest of the scene before him. Therefore, when the clerk had finished telegraphing the last lines dictated by Blount, Alcide Jolivet noiselessly took his place at the wicket, and just as his rival had done, after quietly depositing a respectable pile of roubles on the shelf, he delivered his dispatch, which the clerk read aloud: "Madeleine Jolivet, 10, Faubourg Montmartre, Paris. From Kolyvan, Government of Omsk, Siberia, 6th August. Fugitives are escaping from the town, Russians defeated, fiercely pursued by the Tartar cavalry." And as Harry Blount returned he heard Jolivet completing his telegram by singing in a mocking tone, "Il est un petit homme, tout habillé de gris, dans Paris." Imitating his rival, Alcide Jolivet had used a merry refrain of Béranger. "Hallo!" said Harry Blount. "Just so!" answered Jolivet. In the meantime the situation at Kolyvan was alarming in the extreme. The battle was raging nearer, and the firing was incessant. At that moment the telegraph office shook to its foundations. A shell had made a hole in the wall, and a cloud of dust filled the office. Alcide was just finishing writing his lines, but to stop, dart on the shell, seize it in both hands, throw it out of the window, and return to the wicket, was only the affair of a moment. 5 seconds later the shell burst outside. Continuing with the greatest possible coolness, Alcide wrote, "A 6-inch shell has just blown up the wall of the telegraph office. Expecting a few more of the same size." Michael Strogoff had no doubt that the Russians were driven out of Kolyvan. His last resource was to set out across the southern steppe. Just then renewed firing broke out close to the telegraph house, and a perfect shower of bullets smashed all the glass in the windows. Harry Blount fell to the ground, wounded in the shoulder. Jolivet, even at such a moment, was about to add this postscript to his dispatch: "Harry Blount, correspondent of the Daily Telegraph, has fallen at my side, struck by—" when the imperturbable clerk said calmly, "Sir, the wire has broken." And, leaving his wicket, he quietly took his hat, brushed it round with his sleeve, and, still smiling, disappeared through a little door which Michael had not before perceived. The house was surrounded by Tartar soldiers, and neither Michael nor the reporters could effect their retreat. Alcide Jolivet, his useless dispatch in his hand, had run to Blount, stretched on the ground, and had bravely lifted him on his shoulders, with the intention of flying with him. He was too late. Both were prisoners, and at the same time Michael, taken unawares as he was about to leap from the window, fell into the hands of the Tartars. End of Book 1, Chapter 17.